The Bhagavad Gita is to tread the path of truth, the upward path, the path of truth, the path of light, and it goes right into the realm of bliss. Whereas when you follow the things of this world, they go downwards into the dark paths. The Bhagavad Gita illumining us, creating in us waves of bliss, waves of love and light. We are at chapter 1, shlok number 35. एतान हन्तुमिच्छामि ज्ञतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते. Oh Madhusudan, Madhu is also a Rakshasa, demon whom Krishna slayed. But more than that, Madhu is the nectarine tongue of Krishna, dripping with honey, dripping with nectar. Krishna, your every word soothes the soul. Here I come to your lotus feet, battered and damaged by the world, hearing the crass words of the world, jealousy and greed and unhappiness. And when I come to your lotus feet and I tell you of my sadness, your mouth, your tongue drips with nectar. Madhusudan, the one whose mouth drips with honey, gives me so much peace. Madhusudan, so much peace. Here I am tired from many births, running round in circles and achieving nothing. And finally, your nectarine words, they fill my heart with bliss. So, Arjun says, O Madhusudan, Krishna of nectarine tongue, I do not wish to kill them, though they may kill me. I have no love of living. I embrace death, because death will take me into you, Krishna. I do not covet my life also, Krishna. I would not like to kill them. Arjuna has killed many demons in many wars. But suddenly he's got cold feet. When he sees his kith and kin in front of him, suddenly he gets cold feet. Why Arjuna gets cold feet? So that his ignorance comes out. Bhagwan made it happen. His ignorance will rise up and come out in front of Krishna. And then Krishna will give him the knowledge of spirituality which will take him to the highest truth. So Krishna made this battle happen, so that Arjun's ignorance rises up and comes out through his mouth. And then Bhagwan will correct him and take him higher and higher and higher and higher, straight into the Supreme Self. So, Arjun says, I do not wish to kill them. He makes a statement. Bhagwan, I do not wish to kill them. Though they may kill me, I will be ready for that. I am not scared of death, Bhagwan, because I know death takes me into you, into your heart. Mirabai, how she went into Krishna's heart. Rana had taken her out of the kingdom and she had gone here and there and everywhere in search of Krishna. And when she left Rana's kingdom, because he tortured her so much, because a saint had left that kingdom, it led to disaster in Rana's kingdom. There was famine, there was no food, no water, there were storms, there was misery. And Mirabai reached Dwarka, sitting in her devotion and drinking the nectar of Krishna love. Rana saw his miserable plight and sent Brahmins, go get Meera. Anyhow, go get Meera back. They went to Meera and said, we will not eat until you come back with us to the kingdom. Meera said, let me go ask my Krishna. She went into the temple. She looked into Krishna and she got absorbed by him. Absorbed by him into his beautiful, enlightened being. Only her sari was left hanging there. She had gone into her beloved. Oh Krishna, says Arjun, I don't mind dying. I'll be very happy, to be honest. And I don't want to kill anyone. Dear spiritual aspirants, you have to lift up your Gandhi. You have to kill the evil within you. The Gandhi is the knowledge of truth. There are demons who live inside you. You have to destroy them. There is desire. Desire for the things of this world is the first evil. There is anger. There is greed. There is attachment. There is ego. You have to kill these demons if you want to win the beautiful kingdom of God. Arjun refuses to fight. If you don't kill your demons, Arjun, they will overpower you. They will keep you shrouded in negativity, life after life after life after life, Arjun. Yes, Arjun, I can see you are desireless. I do not wish to kill them, though they may kill me. Not even for the sovereignty of the three worlds, let alone for this silly kingdom. Who cares? Even if Bhagwan, you promised me to become the king of the three worlds, still I would not fight. Who wants all this? We want peace. We want light. We want love. We want moksha. We want nirvana. We want purity. We want truth. I do not wish to kill them, Bhagwan, though they may kill me. Not even for the sovereignty of the three worlds, much less for this earth. He remains desireless, Arjun. And that is why Bhagwan is giving him this knowledge. Aspire for the highest. Kill the demons within. This greed is a horrible fellow. Horrible fellow. He never gets satisfied. He never gets satisfied. And the saddest part is greed grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And then we are old. And then we cannot even enjoy those pleasures. But the greed doesn't go. So we are left with a body that cannot enjoy the pleasures of the flesh, but left with so many desires within. Miserable we are. Bhagwan, I don't want. Bhagwan, I don't want anything. I want Krishna's loving lotus feet. That's all I want. Chapter 1, Shlok number 36. Chapter 1, Shlok number 36. Nihatya dartha rashtrana ka priti sya janardana papame vashraye tasman hatvaitana tatayina. Atatayi, terrorists. Oh Janardan. Janardan. Jan means the people. Ardan means the one who looks after the people. You know, Krishna never had a Raj Abhishek. He only served his subjects. He was not king and they were the subjects. He served everybody. He was everybody's friend. Though he was the Lord, the Supreme Lord of the three worlds, he was everybody's friend. He was the friend of the Pandavas. He was the friend of Sudama. He was the friend of the Gopis. He was the friend of the Gwalas. He was the friend of Sudama. He was everybody's dear darling friend, not king and subjects. O Janardhan, refuge of all, the wonderful Lord who looks after all with loving divine care, Suhirdam, the selfless friend of all. O Janardhan, refuge of all, what joy can be derived by slaying the sons of Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra, who is like a father to us. Not that he did any fatherly duties. He should have slapped Duryodhan 10 times when Duryodhan was little. He didn't perform any fatherly duties, but the Pandavas were in Maryada. The Pandavas always saw him and respected him as their father because they had lost their father in the jungle when they were very little. The Pandavas, the 5 Pandavas, were very little. Pandu had gone to hunt and there he saw a deer and a doe in love, and he shot an arrow at them and the arrow went through both of them and killed them. They were in fact a rishi and his wife spotting in the jungle. The rishi gave him a curse that if you make love to your wife, you will also perish. So Pandu got all the Pandavas without touching his wife, got them from mantras and yagyas and meditation. That's why the Pandavas are so precious. They have been, dear friends, the pregnant mother should do yagya and jap and meditation if she wants divine children. Pandu and Kunti and Madri meditated, did yagya and chanted the holy name, and that is how the children were born. And they were growing up in the forest beautifully. Then one day Pandu couldn't resist and he touched Madri and then he died. And then Madri took Sati with him and Kunti and the children came back to the palace. The sons of Dhritarashtra were there to trouble them all the time. They could not bear to share their wealth, share their fame. And they tried to kill the Pandavas again and again, but the Pandavas always treated Dhritarashtra like their own father, more than their own father, because their hearts were pure. What joy can be derived by slaying the sons of Dhritarashtra? Whatever they may be, they are our brothers, Krishna. They are not your brothers, Arjun, they are evil. And you have to slay the evil of your heart so that you get the joy of the three worlds. They are greed, they are anger, they are lust, they are desire, they are attachment, they are conceit, they are ego, they are darkness. All the negative traits they are. That is why Krishna is imploring Arjun to kill them. But Arjun says, what will we get by slaying them? Sin alone will accrue to us by killing them. No, Arjun. It is a sin not to kill them. On the contrary. If you don't kill them, sin will spread on this earth like wildfire. The sons of darkness will spread sins everywhere. Now, in an ordinary situation, Arjun is right that we shouldn't be killing anyone. But this is not an ordinary situation. Here, the Sadguru is directly telling him. Now, you don't take anything wrong and say, I have to fight my relatives. Only when Krishna tells you. You can't follow and say, no, Krishna made him fight, I will also fight. Krishna directly told him where to aim the arrow. The Sadguru is directly guiding Arjun. The words of the Sadguru are beyond merit and sin. They are beyond the beyond. The words of the Sadguru is the message of the skies. Paigambar, the one who brings the message of the skies. He is not himself saying, he is saying the supreme energy. What the supreme energy wants. And what he wants is done. Is taken as done. So Arjun here, at his wit's end, surrendering to Krishna.